Japan surrendered in 1945. Soon after, the nationalist government took over Taiwan and the Chinese Civil War broke out. In 1949, the ROC armed forces were losing ground in the war. The government promulgated martial law in Taiwan, statutes for the punishment of rebellion, and statutes for the detection and eradication of spies during the period of communist rebellion in order to consolidate its power. Many families were destroyed, and the coercion lasted for almost 40 years. It's known as the White Terror period. Political cases during the White Terror era. In the 1950s, cases were mainly related to the Chinese Communist Party Taiwan Province Working Committee and Taiwan Democratic Autonomous League. While in the 60s, they were mostly related to Taiwan independence activities. As files were not completely made public, there is still no officially recognized number of victims. The White Terror period not only brought harm to the victims and their families, but also had a profound and long-lasting influence in terms of silencing people's political and social views. Today, we take pride in our democracy, but we often forget the people who suffered the inhuman torture, imprisonment, trials, and even lost their lives within the 40 years of the White Terror. The scars caused by the state machine are still unhealed today.
我很想知道是谁杀了我的朋友。
要理清真相，追究隶属的责任，这样才能避免族群的对立，达成社会的和解。
The National Human Rights Museum was inaugurated on March 15, 2018, to promote human rights education and ensure the practice of human rights in Taiwan after years of dedication by victims, their families, academics, and many others. The National Human Rights Museum is the first in Asia built on the historic site to recount the human rights deprivation days during the White Terror period. The museum has 2 sections and 3 centers. The key functions are to preserve, maintain, memorialize, display, study, educate, promote, and reconstruct human rights victims' life stories, preserve human rights violation sites, enforce transitional justice, and serve as a viewing window for Taiwan's democracy and human rights. Under the management of the National Human Rights Museum, Jingmei White Terror Memorial Park used to be a military court, while Green Island White Terror Memorial Park was a prison island. Both of them are the historic sites of mass human rights violations and negative heritage with educational significance, witnessing Taiwan's human rights development. Green Island is an island 18 nautical miles off Taiwan. It is rich in landscape, marine life, as well as human ecology. It's an ideal place for a summer vacation. However, on this 16 square kilometer island stands an unjust site telling of dark memories. The ruins of the coral stone walls and barracks of the 1950s. The high wall prison built in the 1970s. And the fading memories of the anti-communism slogans coexist on this tiny island. Today, at this Green Island White Terror Memorial Park, you can see the concentration camp, New Life Correctional Center, built in the 1950s, and the Oasis Villa, built in the 1970s, as well as the labor camp, Zhuangjing Camp. Formerly known as Burning Island, Green Island was a prison for homeless criminals during Japanese colonial rule. In 1951, the KMT government built the new Life Correctional Center under Taiwan Garrison Command. On May 17th, over 1,000 political prisoners were transported to Green Island. They landed at Zhongliao and were marched to the Center for Re-Education.
中华民族的国分，唤醒了我们的迷梦。三民主
In re-education classes, they sang the New Life song. After that, hammering coral stone by the seaside and cutting reeds on the hills to thatch their own shelters or barracks were their daily routines.
劳动主要劳动在前几年是属于硬劳动，硬劳动就是说，例如说造围墙，造围墙技术打石头，打石头这是抬石头，这是非常非常劳累的事情。整块那么大的石头在太平洋底，把它一块块的打碎，打碎以后两个人用绳子把它吊上来，然后把它抬到工地。那时候工地所谓造围墙之外，还要造房子。 造了很多很多客栈房，客栈房子用来做仓库，做菜圃，他们工作的一种休息室。
There were 3 battalions in the New Life Correction Center, and each battalion had 3 companies, 12 companies in all. A company consisted of some 120 prisoners, while there was a women's company of some 100 inmates in the 6th Battalion from 1951 until 1954. At a single time, there were over 2,000 prisoners in the correction center. 160 inmates squeezed in a 12-square-foot cell, where every inmate had merely 15 inches of sleeping space.
暗时就摆得更加，他们唱讲，大道我过翻江山，翻江山，小命自莫三千，三千啊你。 考家唱啊，我你就唱一大声咧，说声来我人唱，我卡到我都给你踏入啊。
The only free time they had was in between night roll call and lights out. They would write letters, read, play chess, or even make some improvised musical instruments then. Prisoners' ideology will be examined regularly and their behavior closely monitored in the camp. Those who refuse to comply will be confined in the bunker and tortured.
一天就是1碗饭，1碗盐水，给你吃。多加困，多加饱的，大概过了1个2个礼拜，你就看看，下骹拢去晒，白迄个晒下个糖，那个时候感觉人间的感觉。 人间地狱啊！
Those who died of illness or who committed suicide would be buried in the 13th Company, as long as their remains were not claimed by family or friends. They overcame environmental problems and formed farming teams to grow vegetables. Former medical doctors helped to treat local residents and other inmates.
付出就是学无求，因某呢，因某呢，甲你讲有心难散叫这阮这伯伯这受难者这医生去接生去救活去，因遮对这印象就无同款啊。
这个开刀后的这个病人的这个预后诊断前的这个都是我们大家一起做参考的有意见的人都提出来在那个困难的时期在困难的时代我们度过来的，一起度过来的。
They entertained themselves by rehearsing anti-communism plays and forming a musical band at the Swallow Cave.
他们是觉得我这个北京话，也就是当时讲的国语嘛，讲的比较标准嘛，所以那时候有一个导演是政工干校的，那他就选我做正统工。哈哈哈！
These were the stories that happened in the center. Through oral and video records and donated artifacts, the lives of 1950s political prisoners can be revived for the public to see. In 1965, the number of prisoners in the center became fewer, as many prisoners were released. Taiyuan Correction Prison was built in Taidong to confine the remaining prisoners. The Vocational Training Brigade then replaced the new Life Correction Center. A riot erupted in Taiyuan Correction Prison in 1970, and 5 inmates were executed. After the incident, Green Island Reformatory Prison was constructed to accommodate all political prisoners. It was ironically named Oasis Villa. As it was built relatively recently, the Oasis Villa is well preserved. The prison is a hexagon building surrounded by high walls. Cells were on both sides of the corridor, and the lawns between the buildings were the exercise yards. Political prisoners could only hear the sea waves beyond the high walls. No matter if they were in the cells, walking on the lawns, or working as daytime laborers, they were isolated from the outside world. They could only have a glimpse of the island after they were freed.
站这边住6个月吼，迄逐工拢骹疼、手疼、关节疼，啊，我逐工拢用迄个被啊，将我的关节甲包起来，到这做封闭，啊，搁开放搁夹，所以在这里生活真的会让人家发疯。
Some prisoners were assigned to work in the shop, library, laundry, barbershop, or to make handicrafts or work in the kitchen. In those days, transportation was inconvenient. Making a visitation trip was difficult. Seeing loved ones was a laborious and challenging task for family members.
我是马来西亚侨生，我被莫须有的罪名判了12年，被送到绿岛服刑。有一天，忽然母亲也从马来西亚来到绿岛来看我，我真的不敢相信，我母亲能够不懂中文的状况之下，从马来西亚来到台北，然后从台北来到台东，台东来到绿岛来见我。坐下来想跟妈妈讲话的时候，因为心理上没有任何准备，也讲不出任何的话来。在时间快到的时候，我忽然间想到一句话，我是说，请妈妈好好的保重身体。我也答应母亲，我会好好的保重身体。我也答应她，我一定会活着回到马来西亚跟妈妈相见。当我讲完这句话的时候，看看妈妈已经开始流着眼泪。
Green Island White Terror Memorial Park officially opened on May 17, 2018. This prison island links the past and the present. People can peer into the lives of political prisoners in the restored New Life Correction Center and behind the high walls of the Oasis Villa and see how they were tortured and how they suffered. The National Human Rights Museum is obliged to face the persecution of human rights history and bravely examine the scars of victims. To deepen democracy in Taiwan is the duty and obligation of the museum. With this mission, the museum will show the world that Taiwan has the determination to safeguard human rights.